In D&D, what is a species? Previously known as races, species are 1/3 of your D&D character. Classes are what you do, backgrounds are what you used to do, and species are what you are. It used to be that your class was the most important part of your character, followed by the race, and then by the background. But now I think the last two have flip-flopped, mostly because the background not only gets an origin feat along with it, but also contains the bonus ability score improvements that used to come from the race. Species do still come with subspecies, like before, but now they are greatly simplified. And they get a few other features. Some change from D&D 2014, some not. So why not go through the 10 species given in the player's handbook, discuss their features and some of the differences, and perhaps talk about whether these changes are for the better or not. One point of note, unless we discuss otherwise, creature type will be humanoid and their speed 30 feet. I'll mention when that's not the case. The Aasimar is a nice addition to the book. In 2014, this heavenly race was strangely absent considering its infernal sibling, the Tiefling, was present. Aasimar are peoples that have celestial power in their soul, perhaps from angel blood passed down from their ancestors. Their medium or small size have resistance to necrotic and radiant damage, dark vision out to 60 feet, and access to the light cantrip. Healing Hands lets you touch a creature with a magic action and roll a number of d4s equal to your proficiency bonus and give them that in healing once per long rest. And then there's Celestial Revelation, which is not a subspecies. At level 3, as a bonus action, we can transform for 1 minute once per long rest. While transformed, once per turn, when we cast a spell or attack, we do extra damage equal to our proficiency modifier. There are 3 transformation options, and you get to choose which transformation you want when you use it. Heavenly Wings gives us a fly speed equal to our walking speed. Inner Radiance has literal light coming out of your mouth and eyes, which is really creepy. We glow with bright light for 10 feet and dim for another 10. And anyone within 10 feet takes radiant damage equal to our proficiency modifier at the end of the turn. And finally, Necrotic Shroud, which is somehow not the creepiest option, but it is the one to tickle your inner emo. Creatures within 10 feet, excluding allies, make a charisma saving throw DC 8, plus charisma modifier, plus proficiency bonus, or be frightened to the end of your next turn. Like dragons? Why not play with a Dragonborn? Medium size only, dark vision up to 60 feet, finally. And at 5th level, you get Draconic Flight, which lets you, with a bonus action, sprout wings once per long rest for 10 minutes and gain a flying speed equal to your walking speed. The subspecies, or Draconic Ancestry in this case, lets us pick a dragon and their associated damage and adopt it as ours. So if we pick Gold Dragon, we get Fire. We will then get damage resistance to the damage type, and we will also get a breath weapon. When we take the attack action, we can replace one of our attacks with a breath attack, 30-foot cone, or 5-foot wide, 30-foot long line. Make a dex save DC 8 plus Constitution modifier plus proficiency bonus, or take 1d10 damage of the type of our Draconic Ancestry and have that damage on a save. This damage also increases at the same rate as most cantrips, and extra d10s at level 5, 11, and 17. We can do this a number of times equal to our proficiency bonus per long rest. Interestingly, this doesn't have to take your whole action. If you have the extra attack feature, you can replace one of the attacks and then smash something with your weapon. The short kings of D&D, the dwarves, can only be medium sized, which is kind of ironic. They have dark vision out to 120 feet, which is amazing. They have resistance to poison damage and have advantage on saving throws to end or avoid the poison condition. Dwarven Toughness gives them 1 extra hit point for every level they get. And then there's Stone Cutting. Number of times per long rest equal to our proficiency bonus. We can use a bonus action to gain Tremor Sense out to 60 feet for 10 minutes, as long as we are touching some sort of stone. Tremor Sense is pretty cool and very rare. It's a really hard to obtain ability. And as long as it's active and you're touching stone, and they're touching the stone, bye-bye invisibility. There's also no subspecies for dwarves, which is new. And simple. This is one for players who don't want a lot of complications. Time to look at the grandmas of D&D, the elves. Still only medium size, which seems like a missed opportunity. Why can't we have short stack elves? Or is that just a gnome? Dark vision out to 60 feet. Fey Ancestry gives advantage on saving throws to avoid or end the charm condition. Keen Senses gives proficiency in either insight, perception, or survival. Trance says that you don't need to sleep, and magic can't put you to sleep, though it does seem like something like a drug or some other like effect could put you to sleep by this wording. You also only need 4 hours of rest for a long rest, and you're conscious during that time, which will make you a pretty good lookout. Finally, the subspecies, or Elvian lineages, being the Evo shut-ins of themselves, known as Drow, increase our dark vision out to 120 feet and give the Dancing Lights cantrip. Also at 3rd level, we learn the Fairy Fire spell, and at 5th level, Darkness. High Elves, that's the snooty ones, get Prestidigitation, and can switch that cantrip for another on the wizard's spell list after a long rest. I'm not sure why they mentioned Prestidigitation here. Not just say choose a cantrip of our choice. That just seems like it would be simpler, but whatever. At 3rd level, Detect Magic, and 5th level, Misty Step. And the hipsters of the elven kind, Wood Elves, get to increase their speed to 35 feet and get the Druid Craft cantrip, along with the Longstrider at 3rd level and Pass Without Trace. Not a whole lot of changes, but the High Elf cantrip feature does seem kind of weird. Maybe not thought through or worded very well. You can also use your own spell slots to cast any of the above-mentioned spells, by the way. Gnomes, I think, don't get a lot of attention. I think Critical Role with Vox Machina did more to promote the gnome than D&D itself did. Small size only. I did notice with dwarves and gnomes, they don't have reduced speeds anymore. Interesting that. Dark vision out to 60 feet. It does seem like everyone gets dark vision now. And gnomish cunning, which gives advantage on all intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saving throws, which is just as strong and underrated as it always was. The subspecies gnomish lineages start with forest gnomes. They learn the minor illusion cantrip as well as the speak with animal spell, which they can cast a number of times per long rest, equal to their proficiency modifier, plus whatever spell slots they already have. Rock gnomes get both the mending and prestidigitation cantrips. With the latter, in 10 minutes, they can create a little machine that can create one of the effects of prestidigitation with just a bonus action. You can have 3 of these devices going at a time, and they fall apart after 8 hours. A nice little ability for creative play that certainly won't destroy a DM's entire campaign! I did notice that Svirfneblin were missing here. Interesting. Goliaths are the new darlings of D&D, and they're getting a lot of attention. Only medium size, of course, can't have small Goliaths, but that would be pretty funny. They have a speed of 35 feet, which is cool, and unique to them outside of the subspecies at least. Powerful build gives us advantage on saving throws to end the grapple condition and count as one size larger when determining how much you can carry. Large form at 5th level lets us, once per long rest, use a bonus action and turn to size large for 10 minutes. This will give advantage on strength checks as well as increase our speed by 10 feet, which is now a speed of 45 feet. Add levels of monk or barbarian to that and you are going to be a very fast big old slab of hand stick. Then we come to the subspecies Goliath Ancestries, of which there are 6 choices. Each gives us an ability we can use a number of times per long rest, equal to our proficiency bonus, themed around the true giants types we descend from. Cloud's Jaunt for Cloud Giants lets us use a bonus action to teleport 30 feet, essentially the Misty Step spell. Fire's Burn for Fire Giants lets us, when we hit with an attack roll, deal an extra 1d10 fire damage. Frost Chill for the Frost Giants lets us, when we attack and hit an enemy, do 1d6 cold damage and reduce the speed by 10 feet to the start of our next turn. Hill's Tumble for Hill Giants lets us, when we hit an enemy with an attack, to knock them prone. And Stone's Endurance for the Stone Giants lets us, when we take damage, use our reaction to reduce the damage by an amount equal to a d12 plus Constitution modifier. And then there's Storm's Thunder for Storm Giants lets us, when we take damage from a target within 60 feet, use our reaction to retaliate and do 1d8 thunder damage in return, which is pretty much a light version of Hellish Rebuke. The Barbarian I'm playing right now is a Hill Goliath, and it's been a whole lot of fun. Moving on to our second breakfast-loving halflings, which can only be small size, obviously. They get Brave, which lets them avoid or shake off the frightened condition. Halfling Nimbleness lets them move through the space of any creature that is at least one size larger than them. Normally, you can only move through an ally's space or a creature that is 2 sizes larger than you. Luck lets us, when we roll a 1 for any d20 test, re-roll that die. Look, it's only a 5% chance to roll a 1, but when it happens, and you get to say nope, and just re-roll that, it's amazing. But you have to remember that you have it. It's one of the easiest features to forget. I mean, not that that's ever happened to me. Natural Stealthy lets us take the hide action when we are obscured by a creature that is one size larger than us. This isn't a new feature, but I don't know if I've ever never actually seen anyone actually use Naturally Stealthy. It seems that it's a lot of fun, and if anyone has any good stories, please put it in the thingamabob down below. Halflings also no longer get subspecies. Basic humans are back, but they're good? Medium or small, shout out to all my short friends. Resourceful lets us get Heroics Inspiration once per long rest. Remember, this essentially gives you a reroll on any die, not just d20s, percent die, damage die, whatever. You can only have one at a time, but if you get another while you have one, you can give the extra to another player, which I totally didn't forget until researching this video. Nope. Skillful gives us proficiency with any skill we choose, and Versatile gives us an origin feat of our choice. This is in addition to the one from our background, and we can take anyone we want. I know some people are a little disappointed with orcs because there are no more half-orcs, or half-elves for that matter, and no tangible rules or mechanics to make them outside of just saying, yeah, this is what I am, I'm half of this. And I'm definitely one of those. Other systems have found elegant solutions to this. I don't know why Wizards couldn't come up with something. I don't know, I think we all feel a little cheated there. Orcs are medium-sized only, have dark vision out to 120 feet. That's nice. Relentless Endurance lets us, once per long rest, when we drop to 0 hit points, drop to 1 hit point instead. Then Adrenaline Rush lets us take the dash action as a bonus action, and when we do that, we gain temporary hit points equal to our proficiency modifier. We can do this a number of times equal to our proficiency modifier, but we get those uses back on a short or long rest. So I think we'll get quite a lot of uses out of it. We round it out with the most fiendish of species, the Tiefling. Can be medium or small, dark vision out to 60 feet, and they get the Thaumaturgy cantrip. The subspecies for them are called Fiendish Legacies. And these are interesting. Tieflings used to be humanoid related to, marked by, or descended from devils from the Nine Hells. Being related to a demon meant you were a Cambion, in which were never really a playable race. Now, Tieflings represent all three of the different flavors of fiends, from devils to demons to Yugoloths. This organization is actually kind of similar to elves in the way it's designed. The Abyssal Legacy gives resistance to poison and the Poison Spray cantrip. At 3rd level, they get the 1st level spell Ray of Sickness, and at 5th, 2nd level spell Hold Person. The Chthonic Legacies get resistance to necrotic damage and the Chill Touch cantrip, with 3rd level giving False Life and 5th level giving the Ray of Enfeeblement spell. And the Infernal Legacy giving resistance to fire, the Firebolt cantrip, and Hellish Rebuke at 3rd level and Darkness at 5th level. Now let's discuss what all this means. I think the biggest change to species as a whole was the removal of the ability score increases for them. And that can make some sense. You could certainly argue that being a soldier should give you bonuses to some combination of strength, constitution, or dexterity, whereas a half-orc getting bonuses to strength or con based on genetics of their species might not make sense. I personally think that a 6-foot-tall half-orc being strong and tough kind of makes sense. I think I would have liked to have seen a splitting of the duties here, where background and species both contribute to the ability score bonuses. That makes a little more sense to me, and it's what some other systems have done, like Pathfinder 2e. I mean, a 35-pound halfling being stronger than a 200-pound orc is just a little wild to me. It's just a matter of leverage. It's physics. There's a deeper reason for this change, and that is inclusivity. Playing against type, whereas all the other orcs may be strong, you want to play the weirdo that studies books instead of martial prowess. This lets players use the idea of the species they want to play in the role that they have imagined. They didn't have to deal with a wizard with a +2 strength they didn't want, and no bonus to intelligence that they did kind of need. Personally, I kind of thought this was a solved issue. In D&D 2014, races got the ability score bonuses, and then Tasha's Cauldron of Everything introduced a rule that let you, with your DM's permission, just move those ability score bonuses around to suit your needs. This allowed the player to make the characters they wanted, but still let the game designers have the freedom to create the creatures the way they imagined them. Ability score bonuses in the old races weren't there just to be restrictive, but to help communicate to the player base their design intent and how they imagined those races or species to be. And we've kind of lost that, and now races are a little boring. At this point, I kind of wonder why they just don't scrap all that and then eliminate the ability score bonuses altogether and just factor that math into the ability score generation. That's basically what Baldur's Gate 3 did. Let's go back to the halfling for a second. Being small size now is mechanically almost meaningless. Some of the movement rules can be affected by how big something is, that it can just walk over your space unimpeded, or vice versa with a small creature scampering between legs. Being small usually came with a commensurate reduction in speed, tiny legs, and penalties to using bigger weapons, which, as we said, is just a matter of physics. But it mostly was just downsides, so it kind of sucked. Now it's just mostly irrelevant, which is a shame, not just for realism's sake, but I miss the 3rd edition give and take of being small. Sure, Hamish Littlefoot couldn't swing a sword worth a damn, but if he decided to hide, God himself couldn't find him. That's it for today. Tell me in the comments below what you think of the new species, and while you're down there, be sure to subscribe, ring the bell, and smash that like button. Check out our other videos around here, and we'll see you next time on Roleplay Culture.